It's the giving season, so let's look at some groups around the Flint Hills who make our home a better place. I'm Danielle Leon. Welcome to MHK All Day. Riley County Police are currently on alert of a new trend that is going on. Manhattan residents are leaving their guns inside their cars for safety, but the problem with this is that the department has seen an increase in gun theft inside vehicles. This is mainly because cars are being left unlocked. According to the police, the trend started in the last 9 months, but can be prevented by securing both your vehicle and weapon. A 16-year-old girl is in the hospital after a crash Monday morning. The young girl was thrown in the passenger seat in the Ford Bronco when it rolled after being hit by another vehicle. The Chevy Impala had been attempting a left turn onto Britt Road when it hit the Bronco. The girl was airlifted to Salina Mercy. A local man was arrested after reportedly trying to steal a gator from a sewage treatment plant. An employee of the plant called the Riley County Police Sunday night to report an individual was in the plant attempting to take a John Deere gator. Ian Eastman was arrested for burglary, theft, criminal damage to property, and trespassing on a railroad. Eastman is currently being held in Pottawatomie County Jail on a $5,000 bond. The Big Sisters and Big Brothers of Riley County is short of volunteers and is looking for a few good men to help out. This nationwide organization partners at-risk children with volunteer mentors in the community. Riley County has a waiting list of about 100 little brothers in need of a big brother. If you have an hour to spare each week, this may be your opportunity.
Typically, we have a waiting list anywhere. Right now, it actually is running around 134 children. Of that waiting list, probably 75% are males. And that's because we just tend to have fewer volunteers come in that are male.
According to the Big Brothers Big Sisters of America website, children enrolled in the program are 46% less likely to use drugs and 55% less likely to skip school just by having an adult mentor in their lives. Something to think about. One state executive is fighting to keep his budget. Executive Director of Kansas Sentencing Committee Scott Schultz is worried that continued budget problems here in Kansas will cause legislators to cut funding which provides treatment to first and second-time drug offenders. Schultz says the state can save nearly $21,000 per year by keeping these first and second-time offenders out of prison. State officials and university economists are expected to release a new, bleaker outlook for the state. The boys in blue have brought the World Series trophy back to Kansas City for the first time in 30 years. Lots of schools were even closed for the Royal Celebration Parade. Lacey Siefkin went out to Kansas City to show us what it was like to be a part of the Royal Parade celebration.
30 years in the making, the Kansas City Royals have won the 2015 World Series. Downtown Kansas City was flooded with over 500,000 fans sporting their royal blue.
Watching it with my family in the front room, and when they won, same thing, all the fireworks went off. It was great. It was neat to see, and I remember those days, and it's nice to have it back. Couldn't see a lot from where we were at. We made our rounds. We kind of moved around, but I didn't want to leave this sitting too long by itself. So.
And is there anything you want to say to the Royals?
Thanks for bringing it back. A long time waiting. It's good to be a Royals fan again, and it's fun.
Classes canceled, work taken off, this resilient team has given Midwesterners a reason to celebrate, and the fans were up for the challenge.
Anytime you have a crowd of several 100,000 people consolidated in one area, it presents numerous crowds. Communication issues, the cellular service is down. All of our satellite links get, their work on the cellular system, so our communications are limited. We don't have our normal communication capabilities. Access and egress for patients, getting to patients is another concern, and just trying to find a person in a mass of several 100,000 people is extremely complicated. finding the guy in blue who's not feeling bad is a little bit rough today.
Coming extremely close in last year's Fall Classic, the Royals have prepared officials for this year's celebration.
A planning process that, believe it or not, started last year with the Royals going to the World Series. A lot of the planning process was in place already. A majority of everyone's going home safe. You know, considering that we had, I would say, several hundred thousand. I'm not an expert on that type of stuff, but considering the number of people we had consolidated into one small area, yes, I would say today was an absolute success.
What a great way to show how much we care for the Royals. Stick with us. We'll have Tanner Barth here to tell us what else is going on in the world of sports. And if you want to keep up with what's happening here in the Flint Hills, don't forget to check out the Facebook page and click on that little like button.
Kenya, Africa. A baby elephant is trapped in a waterhole. Researchers rush to the rescue. And a 400-pound baby elephant and its agitated, dangerous mother are finally reunited. One of those researchers is K-State alumnus Mark Sowers. While at K-State, he used telemetry to study bison on the Konza Prairie Biological Station, a skill he now uses to study and help elephants, his lifelong dream. That's the Wildcat way.
Around here, school pride isn't just some slogan on a t-shirt. It's the spirit that comes from understanding we are stronger when we're together. That's the essence of K-State Proud, a nationally recognized student-led fundraising campaign. In just 6 years, K-State Proud has helped raise more than $500,000 to help students who need it most and appreciate it best. Think of it as Philanthropy 101. K-State Proud. It's just one more way the Kansas State family treats one another, well, like family. Where there's a Wildcat, there's a way. Nearly 150 years ago, the first native limestone was carved into the campus of Kansas State University. Since that time, K-State has known what it takes to rise to the challenge. Now, we're challenging ourselves to become a top 50 public research university by the year 2025. To reach that status, our research dollars, endowment, career award winners, and patents are growing to match our internationally recognized programs and research. K-State 2025 is more than a challenge, it's a commitment. A commitment we'll keep. Because where there's a Wildcat, there's a way.
The Pride of Wildcat Land will soon have its own stage in the Bill Snyder Family Stadium. The new one-of-a-kind stage will be in the northeast corner of the stadium next to the student section. Check it out. The placement is meant to increase visibility and sound for the band. It would also open up more seating in the student section. $10 million of the $15 million has already been raised for the project. Most of us never thought we would see it, but for the first time in 30 years, the Kansas City Royals are the World Series champions. To tell us more about how the Royals got there, I am now joined by sports anchor and sports enthusiast Tanner Barth.
Thank you, Danielle, and that's right. The Kansas City Royals are now on top of the world in terms of Major League Baseball. It took 12 innings Sunday night, but all the Royals fans started their week knowing that their Royals were the 2015 World Series champions. Down 2-0 headed to the top of the ninth, it seemed as though the Mets would win Game 5 and send the series back to Kansas City. But a deep double by Eric Hosmer trimmed the Mets' lead to 1. Hosmer was able to move to third on a ground out by Mike Moustakas, setting the stage for one of the biggest plays of the game. A grounded to third by Salvador Perez let Eric Hosmer slide in safe at home, allowing the Royals to tie it up at 2. Things would remain scoreless, though, Daniela, until the 12th when the Royals struck for 5 runs. And, I mean, the Royals' bats really got going there. There were 5 runs enough as the Royals would go on to win Game 5 7-2 and capture their first World Series in 30 years. Kind of a good thing there. Salvador Perez, he's played through the entire season playing the catcher position. He was able to come out with the 2015 World Series MVP, so great thing for Salvador.
I'm very happy for Salvi. I mean, he was signed with the Royals at a very young age, so this is huge for him.
Absolutely, but now baseball's over. We switch gears to Kansas State men's basketball, who opened their season last Friday with an exhibition against Emporia State. A good crowd on hand here at Bramlage Coliseum. K-State got the scoring started here early. First deep 3 by Wesley Wundu. The Cats hope to see much more of that from him this season. Good defense here by senior Justin Edwards. The give and go back to Edwards, able to get the right-handed finish. And Kansas State defense continues to keep it going. Great still here by Ron Freeman gets Kansas State into the fast break offense. Freshman able to take it the length of the court, dishes it off to the veteran Ryan Roletter for the layup. The Cats would go on to win 80-42. They host another in-state Division II opponent this Friday against Fort Hays State. The Kansas State volleyball team is getting hot at exactly the right time. Last Saturday, the Wildcats welcomed in the TCU Horned Frogs to Ahern Fieldhouse. Clearwater, Kansas native Brenna Vogel with the ace here gave K-State the set 2 victory 25-17. And a slide kill attempt here by Vogel once again was dug out in the back row by TCU's Kaylee Smith, but that gave junior Brooke Sasson the perfect opportunity for the kill, and she made the most of it. With that kill, K-State wins the 5th set 25-22 to take the match 3-1. The 60 kills by K-State powered them to victory with the win. The Cats improved to 14-8 overall and now 6-4 in Big 12 play. K-State will play host to Texas Tech this upcoming Saturday. Kansas State football, coming off a bye week, is currently on a 4-game losing streak, and the task at hand doesn't get any easier for the Cats. Thursday, they will host the number 2 ranked Baylor Bears. Even without starting quarterback Seth Russell, who is out for the season due to a neck injury, Baylor will pose a tough matchup for the Cats. Kickoff from Bill Snyder Family Stadium is set for 6:30 p.m. Central Daylight Time. Those of you in the area that cannot catch the game in person, the nationally televised game will be on Fox Sports 1. And Daniela, kind of sad news out of Northwest Kansas today. A Kansas high school quarterback from Sharon Springs, Luke Shim, has died due to a head injury that he suffered in last night's playoff game. So all of our thoughts and prayers really go out to him in the Sharon Springs community.
Very sad news coming out of Northeast Kansas. Well, to be sure to follow us back in MHK All Day and follow us on sports and on Twitter for the latest about what's happening in the Flint Hills. Stay tuned.
It was the day the music nearly died. Little remained after a 1968 fire roared through Nichols Hall at Kansas State University, reducing the music department to rubble. But before the embers of that terrible fire had even died, a new fire blazed within every member of the Wildcat Band. Using the only sheet music that survived the fire, the band pumped up the next home crowd with a rousing rendition of Wabash Cannonball. To this day, the jingle, the rumble, and the roar still fire up the fans and brings them to their feet. Where there's a Wildcat, there's a way.
K-State Student Radio brings every game to K-State fans on the Wildcat 91.9.
Line's going to take a pitch out to the right. Hubert dices his way up and into the end zone for the Wildcat touchdown. Takes the snap. He's going to roll out. He's going to throw deep over the middle of the field for Tyler Lockett. Catches it. 15-10, 5, touchdown, Kansas State.
For all of your K-State sports coverage, tune into the Wildcat 91.9.
Wired Magazine calls him the Explainer. His students call him amazing. Over 20 million YouTube views show that Associate Anthropology Professor Michael Wesch is transforming higher education. Translated to more than 20 languages and counting, Professor Wesch's teachings still share one common voice: passion. And whether you're learning live or online, that passion is contagious. And that passion is one of the leading reasons Kansas State University is first among U.S. public research universities in producing U.S. Case Carnegie Professors of the Year. Where there's a Wildcat, there's a way.
Welcome back to MHK All Day. Earlier in the week, I got to sit down with Candace McIntosh, the coordinator for the Schools of Hope, to talk about what they do here in Manhattan. Check it out.
So can you talk to me a little bit about what this nonprofit organization is all about?
Yes, the Flint Hills Volunteer Center is really the clearinghouse for all volunteer activities here in the Manhattan community. So the Volunteer Center, we place volunteers throughout every nonprofit, through every community program event that occurs in town. And so I am actually the coordinator for Schools of Hope, which is an in-school mentoring program. And so Schools of Hope is a signature program of the Volunteer Center.
And Schools of Hope, can you tell the viewers at home what that is and how it's affecting Manhattan?
Yeah,
Schools of Hope was developed about over 5 years ago, going in 4 or 5 years ago, and we really took a look at the volunteer needs in our school. We had the university students that were coming up, and also just community volunteers that wanted to come and work in the schools, and the schools were really struggling with coordinating those volunteers and making sure that their time was really put to use other than just going into the lounge and cutting paper or cutting out things. So we wanted to really want to utilize them the best way possible. So what our program does is we have identified a group of students that do not meet services offered by the school district. So we have kindergarten through 3rd graders that aren't low enough to qualify for help, but are still not hitting quite where their benchmark needs to be in reading. So those students are referred over to us, and we match them one-on-one with a mentor that meets with them twice a week for 30 minutes. They read together, they play games, they really just develop that relationship, just build them up, fill their buckets, and make sure that they are getting that one-on-one time that they are not getting yet in school right now.
And while I was going through your website, there was a little statistic or not that said if by the end of 3rd grade children do not meet those reading requirements and whatnot, they're most likely to drop out of high school. So have you seen this work out with your program? I know you've only been there for 4 years, but do you really see an improvement with these kids after going through this work?
Yeah, definitely. We have seen, the biggest growth that I've seen is just their self-confidence. It's been huge. A lot of the kids that we work with, they come from homes that haven't had that exposure to reading in the ways of just listening to someone read, having somebody that sits down with them and opens a book. The only time that they've had reading exposure is assignments, and sometimes it's not that fun. No. So when you initially meet some of our students, you ask them, hey, do you like to read? And they're like, no.
Yeah. It can be hard for kids to like reading because it's looked as a chore. Well, can you tell us a little bit about how one can volunteer for any program, any nonprofit organization around the community?
Yeah, we ask that all of our volunteers come into our office at the Flint Hills Volunteer Center, which is at 433 Houston Street. You can go to our website at www.flinthillsvolunteercenter.com. We ask that you complete an application. You'll meet with our volunteer coordinator. After meeting with them, we kind of decide where your interests are and your specialties, and then we make that placement based on that. And then they'll refer over, if you're interested in Schools of Hope, you'll refer over to me. And then I have additional applications and background checks that I have to complete. And then we kind of base off your schedule and make some placements.
Well, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Candace, for joining us here on the show.
Unfortunately, Candace couldn't be with us live due to a scheduling conflict. But if you'd like to learn more about Schools of Hope, you can visit FlintHillsVolunteerCenter.com or just head on over to our Facebook page. You could find it there. The Riley County Humane Society is one local organization that allows community members to help save the lives of adoptable animals. Reporter Natalie Otto checked out just how you can help save the lives of these cute animals.
Riley County Humane Society is currently housing over 100 adoptable animals, but they don't have one address, they have several.
This is Ruby. She is our adoptable pet of the month, and she's 10 or 11. Don't know a whole lot about her backstory. She's good with people. She's wonderful with people. She's a very, very sweet dog.
Riley County Humane Society and community members across Manhattan are providing animals like Ruby a temporary home in the hopes of finding them a permanent one.
Well, it works because we have a really, really dedicated network of volunteers. It's kind of amazing. We have dog and cat and exotics coordinators that get lists, sometimes as much as every day, of animals that are in need of rescue, that are in shelters.
Volunteering can be a full-time gig, but for these volunteers, all of the hard work is worth it.
So we're looking mostly for animals that are otherwise adoptable, but would be euthanized for whatever reason. And the coordinators have a list of available fosters, and they just reach out to one person specifically and say, hey, we have this dog or this cat that, needs to be rescued. Can you help us out? So by fostering, you really are directly saving a specific animal's life. Good girl, Ruby. Good girl. I love that we're able to find homes for so many wonderful animals that otherwise wouldn't find a home.
Ruby definitely looked like she would make a great member of someone's family. I know if I didn't have roommates, I'd take her myself. Hopefully she will find her home soon. We'll be right back.
What makes undergraduates stay in school, thrive, and graduate? K-State professor Greg Eislein knows. Classes that create a learning community. Professors who stir curiosity. Involve students in their own education. Motivate them to look at things in new and surprising ways. That's why he's Carnegie Case Kansas Professor of the Year. That's the Wildcat Way.
Powerful ideas are sparked by a natural curiosity. It could begin with a single seed or a brilliant ray of light. At Kansas State University, it begins with research that advances the world, where science and creativity meet. At Kansas State University, powerful ideas begin with you.
A Wildcat legacy from generation to generation.
Where my grandfather went to school.
Where my mother went to school.
It's a legacy scholarship program started by the K-State Alumni Association, specifically for the children and grandchildren of K-State alumni. When you buy a K-State license plate, you fund legacy scholarships.
Show your purple pride and be a part of the Wildcat legacy.
From the Little Apple to the Big Apple, through internships, networking, and great professors, Lauren Bishop landed the job of her dreams, working with entertainers and celebrities for a PR firm in New York City. From backstage at the 25th anniversary of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, watching Mick Jagger and Bono rock, to London for the launch of a new luxury hotel, Lauren Bishop is living her dream. That's the Wildcat Way.
Welcome back to MHK All Day. Let's look at some people in the community that deserve a pat on the back. This is Kudos Corner. Hackers better think twice before they look at Kansas State, because the K-State Cyber Defense Club is bringing home the Bitcoin. Their 8-member team took first place at the Central Area Networking and Security Workshop in Little Rock. The K-State team beat out groups from 4 states who were asked to defend against a bunch of different cyber threats, including creating password security rules and defending a simulated corporate network against an attack. Manhattan-based marketing agency 502 Media Group gave an unforgettable prize to a local nonprofit organization. Nonprofits strive to help others, but 502 stepped up to help the Flint Hills Foster Teen Camp with its first ever Boost and Brand mission. 502 donated $25,000 worth of marketing services to the Flint Hills Foster Teen Camps. The media group had 48 hours to design a new marketing brand, as well as an informational video and a new website. Let's take a look at some of that video.
To know that you've had an impact in a young person's life, that maybe for the first time was a positive impact, that's all I want to do. That's what this camp's all about, giving them a chance.
You know, they come to this world and on this planet and they're just so innocent and they're full of hope and joy, and that's smashed and taken away in, I mean, a matter of moments, and a matter of moments that destroys a child. It could take a lifetime for them to recover. We just hope that the few days these teens spend out here at camp gives them just a little bit of hope, something to hold on to.
The Flint Hills Foster Teen Camp was picked out of 21 local nonprofits. 502 says it doesn't know if the company will hold another Brand and Boost mission next year. If you'd like to learn more or help out with the Flint Hills Foster Teen Camp, you can check out their website at fhftc.org. You might just see some of the K-State police officers looking a little fuzzy for the next month. The K-State Police Department is participating in No Shave November in support of men's health awareness. For those who grow a beard, will participate for the best beard on social media and Twitter. That's right, you get to decide who has the best face sweater. A face sweater. Now, how about that? Now, it's time to take a look at the community calendar. If you like one last trip in the last wilderness before it gets really cold, you might want to check out the Little Apple Globe Paddle on the 7th. The canoe and kayak trip will go from Fairmont Park to the linear trail. Afterwards, there are going to be some s'mores. If you like more comfortable, I'm sorry, Tanner, I can't read. If you're more comfortable curled up under a blanket with a good book, the Geary County Public Library is having its Book Lovers Paradise sale from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. on the 6th and 7th. For those theater buffs, the Purple Mask Theater here at K-State will be performing American Tet from the 5th to the 7th. American Tet explores war's effects on military families. But watch out, this show may not be kid-friendly. If you like helping others, you can volunteer with Manhattan Good Neighbors from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on the 8th. This year, the group is cleaning up Sunset Elementary. To sign up, email mgn@kstate.edu. Be sure to tune in next week. We'll be thanking our soldiers for all they do. And Tanner, so do you have any plans this weekend?
I think since K-State football's off, I'm just going to the game's tomorrow, so I think I'm just going to kind of relax, sit at home, watch some football, and enjoy a weekend where I'm not completely 100% busy for the first time in a long time.
I definitely need some sleep since I could not read at all today, but it's supposed to get
it happens.
It's supposed to get really, really cold over the weekend, so it's kind of different since all this week we've been in 70s, 80s weather and whatnot, so.
I think that just kind of goes back to it's starting to get in the holiday season. We've got Thanksgiving coming up now that Halloween's over and October is come and gone. It's kind of that time where you start having to bundle up on your walks to class. So everybody just make sure that you're in tune with the changing weather and know what's going on, because you never know in the state of Kansas. You wake up, it's 80, you go to sleep, wake up in the morning, you got 5 inches of snow on the ground. So you really never really know. So just always be prepared to this Kansas weather, and especially when you're traveling home for the holidays, make sure you keep your travel plans under control and know what's going to go on when you go home. So
yeah, or if you get really cold, you can follow in suit along with the K-State Police Department, the Riley County Police Department, and grow a beard and have a sweater mustache. You know,
I don't think I'll be participating in that No Shave November. I'm not feeling that this year.
You're not feeling it? Well, in other news as well, traffic is supposed to be a little crazy because of tomorrow's game. So the Riley County Police Department tweeted out earlier this morning that if you're planning on traveling at all tomorrow, to be really patient because traffic is just going to be crazy.
And one of the things with that that's kind of funny is talking about yesterday, there was even people who abandoned their cars on the interstates after the World Series parade yesterday just because the traffic was backed up so far. So they said if you were able to make it through that World Series traffic yesterday, you should be fine in Manhattan. But do use your safety precautions and make smart decisions when traveling to and from the game, because we know that it gets a little wild around Bill Snyder Family Stadium.
Well, I mean, going back to that Royal celebration, my parents are from Southwest Johnson County, so they took I-35 and they said it was complete chaos. So it's something definitely to look into, and just be really patient. You know, the police department is out there trying their hardest to get us out. But remember, you can always send us a picture of your favorite soldier using the hashtag MHK All Day. We'll see you next week. I'm Danielle Leon, joined in by Tanner Barth.